Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up and enter our world. A warning to all, a word of beware. This isn't your normal paranormal affair. The strong man's inside. The wolf boy is too. There's a frozen Neanderthal and a bearded lady to boot. The admission is free, no fee to come near. Your stories you'll hear, born of horror and fear. A Bigfoot sighting is certain, a ghost story or two, an alien abduction, or a conspiracy brood. We're the collectors of stories, testimonies of the weird. Yes, soon you'll learn much of the world the normal ones fear. Welcome to the Paranormal Sideshow with your host, John and Stacey Edwards of ParanormalSideshow.com. Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Sideshow. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And this, you know what this is?
What is this?
This is the first official show of 2017. So I'm pretty excited.
Wow.
Are you excited?
I'm excited.
I mean, maybe this year. Okay, that's enough.
You can stop blowing that now.
Yeah. Maybe this year will be filled with no drama. Oh, wait. Maybe this year we'll have no false flag.
No.
Hold on a second. Maybe this year. Well, I'll tell you what it does have.
What's that?
It's already got a ton of surprises.
It does. I agree.
There's been a ton of surprises for us.
Yes.
And a lot of exciting things happening. Unexpected.
Yes. Unexpected
sort of.
things. Things on the horizon.
On the horizon. That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
And I mean, maybe, let me just keep it like this. Maybe this year the Dolphins won't. Oh, wait. The Dolphins already lost.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. That was pretty quick.
But you know what? I apologize. I got to shift from paranormal just for a moment.
Okay.
I'm not so sure, and a lot of people know this, but I know how to tell a real, true football fan. Yeah.
Okay. How's that?
I can tell you exactly how you can tell if somebody is actually a football fan or not.
Okay.
So if you're walking through a mall
Right.
and you see someone wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey, chances are that they may not be an actual football fan.
They're just wearing the jersey.
They're, maybe, perhaps, and this is okay. They're sort of sitting on a wagon with a band.
Right.
And just riding along, right? If you see a guy following that person wearing a New York Jets jersey, there is a really good possibility that this guy just ate some pasta at an all-you-can-eat pasta buffet.
Right.
And he is currently thinking about the possibilities of getting a really good left tackle in the draft. And who the family members are of that left tackle.
Exactly.
So I'm just saying, I am a true football fan.
Yes.
My Dolphins, they lost again.
Yes.
But this is why I'm in the paranormal and not in football. Because obviously I can back some winners in the paranormal.
Yes. Well, you got to go with who you like.
Go with what you know, right?
I mean, you've been Dolphins fan your whole life, so.
I have. And like I said, I apologize for throwing any no, I don't.
Actual normal.
Yeah, actual normal. We have to throw a little normal in sometimes. We talk about the rabbit hole, but the show Curse of Oak Island.
Yes.
And they brought in the big land mover this year.
Yes, that was cool.
Right. That's our rabbit hole. It's like 400 feet below, below whatever the Patterson birthmark or whatever they're looking for. Lies the beginning of our rabbit hole.
Yeah, it goes far.
Oh, God.
It goes far.
I mean, there's Chinamen looking in our rabbit hole right now. that are saying, what?
I haven't heard that reference in a really long time.
Come on. When you were a kid, did you not play outside and think?
Oh, of course. I watched cartoons.
Yeah.
I know how that works. You dig a hole deep enough, you end up in China. Yeah, I get it. I just hadn't heard it in a long time.
I legitimately used to think that if I would jump real hard on the ground, that it could disturb someone in China.
You're a bright kid, weren't you?
Wow.
Just kidding.
Wow.
I wasn't any better.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying wow. Yes, I understand where all your education came from. I met you and I was like, wow, this girl is so smart. She knows so much about everything. God, I love her so much. It's so nice to have intelligent conversation until I found out that almost every bit of your education came from Bugs Bunny.
Not all of it.
A lot of it. It's like
it just all seems relevant.
Even the fact of classical music that you're like, oh yes, that was episode 42 in 1953. I mean, and it's fine. It's great. It doesn't matter where you learn as long as you learn, right?
Exactly.
And that brings us back around to the Paranormal Sideshow.
There you go.
Because, I want to take a second real fast. It's 2017. So one of your New Year's resolutions needs to be to share the show. We have been growing by leaps and bounds. Where did that saying come from?
I don't know. Can you not just have leaps? Can we not just be growing by leaps? Or does it have to be leaps and bounds?
Yeah. I just want to know the bounds part. You know? I mean, what exactly is a bound?
I don't know. Once you leap, is there some other kind of movement you got to do?
I really don't know. I
want to grow by bounds. Just bounds.
Just bounds.
No leaps.
All right. So we've been growing by bounds and bounds. And in doing so, almost every episode has been doubling and tripling the previous episode. And of course, then those people are going back and listening to the whole mess of it.
Right.
And then they're going back and probably listening to Haunted South. And
now's a really good time to catch up with all the episodes.
It really is.
They're all there. You can get all those first 11 episodes. This is episode 12. So good time to catch up.
Right. And if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, you can go to the third side and you can go to Haunted South as well.
Exactly.
And listen to all that stuff. But with that said, I just want to give you a little reassurance. Okay. I know where we may be your dirty little secret. What are you listening to, honey? Oh, I'm listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. He's so witty, and he has a really neat guest, and that's what I'm doing totally, while he's actually listening to John and Stacey. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So then his wife doesn't understand why he's like nervously looking through the curtains and asking her about the van parked across the street,
Exactly.
Which is, I love that because anybody we wake up and ruin the rest of their lives, it makes me a little bit happy because they're with us now.
Yeah.
They're with us. And so the thing I want to put out there to you, it's okay to share the show with Tom at work. It's absolutely okay because what's going to happen is Tom's going to come and hug you the next day and say, thank you so much for sharing that. That changed my life. It really did. It changed my life. Instead of what you may be thinking would happen, which is, hey, I don't really want to go near that dude. You have no idea. What, Tom? What? Well, this guy, he made me listen to the show, and they talked about some really weird stuff. Oh my God, we need to stay away from that guy. Burn him! What? Burn him! Oh God! Yeah, so none of that's going to happen, I promise you. And it's my money back guarantee for every penny that you spent to subscribe. Oh wait.
It doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't cost anything.
There you go.
So it's safe. In the new year, share the show, subscribe to the show, have your friends subscribe to the show. If you really hate the show, have your enemy subscribe to the show. And this is the best way to do it because on paranormalsideshow.com, that's the address to take Tom and show him everything there is about the news and the sideshow and all that good stuff. And Stacey puts every link from the stories out there. She puts some source material out there. She puts some cool videos out there. And every now and then she puts an opinion or two on facebook.com/paranormalsideshow. That one hopefully is self-explanatory, but you don't always know. On Twitter, it's at Sideshow97. Now that's where a little bit of our normal comes to play. We may talk about some things that are not paranormal related.
Exactly.
Except for the dolphins, because there is something paranormal going there. Instagram, hot damn. It's John and Stacey Edwards. And on YouTube, search Paranormal Sideshow.
Yes.
And I think that it's time for a little bit of weird now.
Absolutely.
So bring Tom, and you could just start the show right here. Hold on a second. Is Tom ready? Okay, Tom's ready. It's time for paranormal news.
Okay, so let's get to the news.
Let's.
All right, so this first story is about some UFO footage.
Okay.
That has been released from the Chilean government.
I love the Chilean government.
Yes. And
as far as governments go,
They're definitely the tastiest.
They actually have this whole group that looks at the UFO instances. Anything that comes up, it gets sent to them.
The Chilean government is the drunk uncle of governments. It's like, I mean, can you not see the other governments are kind of hanging out and they're like, yo, baso, you know, war, tax. and there's Chilean over in the corner going, hey, I saw an alien. Oh God!
And then they release it to the public.
Yeah, because they have this habit of doing that.
I just pictured your whole analogy as a political cartoon.
Right.
It's very strange.
Sorry.
Okay, anyway, so it's the CEFAA, and it's part of the Chilean Air Force.
Right.
And they take any UFO sighting evidence and they
tell everyone.
Yeah, they tell everyone. So this is a video that was actually taken in November of 2014. So they've been investigating it for 2 years.
Wow.
So they're
either slow,
right, or they really put a lot of effort into it. So they finally released it, and it's actually a pretty awesome video. It is taken by a helicopter, one of the naval helicopters that had infrared on it.
Right.
And
here we go again.
Exactly. And so the video, when you watch it, you can see the UFO on the infrared, and it's one of those instances where you couldn't see it unless you were using the infrared. Right. And the radar systems on the ground, they didn't see anything.
Right.
Nobody saw anything. And so they turned the footage over, obviously, and they were investigating it, and they ruled out everything, every conventional source they could think of. It wasn't, an airplane, a drone, space shuttle, any of those things.
Yeah, swamp gas.
And they even actually said that the footage is not hoaxed.
Right.
Like they investigated whether it was real footage or not. And so during the video, there's actually a point in time where it actually spewed out hot gas or water and all that kind of thing. So it's really, really interesting. I love that they released it so that people could see it.
Yeah, the moment where it spews out is just weird.
It's crazy because that pretty much proves it's not like a lantern or whatever.
Yeah.
So another reason that this is so interesting is because of that other story that we just did, the one from the National Police Air Service. And we did this story on episode 3, the Halloween episode.
Right.
So I'll put another link up for this story on this page too, but it was a video that they posted on Twitter of a UFO that they took with infrared from a helicopter that nobody else could see, just the infrared.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And it's so similar.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable that these are kind of the same. I mean, it was weird.
So how pissed off are the aliens right now?
That we figured out we could see them with infrared.
They're just like, they might actually not care. They might be the only people that's going to have the infrared cameras are those damn ghost hunters.
Right. Well, it's funny because when I was getting the information for this story, I went back to our story about the National Air Service one, the one we had done a few months ago. And I was looking at it on our website, and the video that I had put up of that UFO was gone because I took it off YouTube and the YouTube channel had been deleted. And I thought, oh God. But I actually went back to Twitter. It took me a little while, but I went back through their Twitter feed and the video is still on Twitter. So I just took it from Twitter and put it back on there so you can still see it. So it's not gone completely, but it was weird that YouTube channel has been deleted. But another thing I was thinking is we did a story in 2014 about a UFO in Chile.
Right.
And I was curious if it was the same one, and it wasn't. I actually went back and found that story as well. And that story was just in 2014. They released pictures from an event in 2013 that some miners had seen.
Right.
And so I thought that was funny too, because they just apparently just release everything they get.
They don't care.
They don't care. I mean, they don't care. But
if Chile is hiding something, it's terrifying.
Yeah, really. But this video is really cool.
It is.
It is. Check it out.
Now, I've seen videos of UFOs or stories of UFOs. I'm sorry, not videos. Eyewitnesses that say they seen a UFO pollinating trees.
Right.
It's like a really big deal. Like they've actually seen the UFOs that appear to be pollinating the trees. They might be killing the trees. We don't know.
You never know.
But that's what I thought of when I seen that spew out.
Right, that they were releasing some kind of gas on purpose. It wasn't just a
right
thruster thing.
Yeah, exactly. Or it was some kind of spirit that had flatulation problems.
Oh, anyway, you can go to our website and find the link for this video, and it's a pretty lengthy video. So, it's not just like 2 seconds. You can watch it for a few minutes. Okay, so next story.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this next story is about a strange 3-fingered alien hand that was found in Peru.
What's strange about that? I thought all aliens just had 3 fingers.
Well, that's strange, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
If you find one.
I guess in the whole context of, hey, that's an alien.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is a discovery that happened. Do you remember a couple months ago? We saw the story of the alien head that was found in Peru, and it looked like kind of like a stone. It had circle eyes with the left. So this is something that's found by the same people in the same cave area. Like they found a lot of different things. This is just now being released.
Well, what does their life become?
Who knows?
They're never going to leave that cave.
Well, the skull that they found a couple months ago hasn't actually been tested yet because this is from Peru. Peru's really stringent on their artifacts, things that are found. You know,
Right.
it takes a long time to get
Well, I mean,
those
there's
through.
a lot of artifacts, a lot of Peruvian artifacts.
There are. So I think it's scheduled to eventually get tested sometime this year. I'm not sure. So
I'm sure it's excited.
they're now showing, I'm sure they're showing this hand that they supposedly found at the
I'm a
same
real skull
site.
now.
It has 3 long fingers, no thumb or anything, just 3 long fingers. And supposedly it has 6 bones and 5 knuckles per finger.
Wow.
Like they're really long. And that the bones in the hand, they did like an x-ray, and the bones in the hand are broken. And it's got skin on the outside, like a type of skin on the outside. And one of the finger looks like it may have a fingernail.
Wow.
I don't think they're really sure about that or not. And then there's also a small piece of metal like on the hand. It's either in it or on it. They can't really, it's kind of there. They don't know if it was inside originally or if it's just on it, that kind of thing.
Maybe they got chipped or something.
Maybe. So it's just one of these things. We're not, they're not sure. It obviously passed enough tests for people to think that it's odd. Like it wasn't immediately distinguishable.
Right. Truly explains the reason it looks like they wear pull-on boots, though.
If they don't have thumbs.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna have a real easy time making the knot, So.
Right. I guess it's on the timeline to be tested eventually as well. It's interesting that it wasn't immediately said, "Oh, this is that from that particular thing." So
let's throw some truth out there.
All right.
You find an alien hand, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think the real percentage, whether it got tested immediately or not?
I don't know.
I mean, no, I'm serious.
No, I know.
If we're trancing through the woods and we find the butt of a Yeti, I mean, people are really going to be interested in it. They're like, oh my God, it's a Yeti butt. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're going to search it. They're going to figure it out real quick. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's let's cover this up. Let's not test this. But it would seem that if you were any kind of scientist, always wanting to discover new species or wonderments of the universe,
right,
that you would break your freaking neck to put the deer feces over to the side,
right,
and
I don't know. I mean, supposedly it's the Peruvian government that they're just really strict about even removing artifacts from where they're from.
Listen, Peru,
and studying them and stuff.
I've
like
talked
that.
good about you before. You need to get up some Chilean type disclosure going.
There you go. Well, this could be a hoax. A lot of people think it's just a hoax because it's the same people that are coming out with all of these different artifacts. And it might be. You never know. But it is interesting. The pictures are interesting anyway. You'll have to just look at the pictures and then you can decide for yourself what you think. Definitely not. I think I saw one person say that they thought it looked like a 3-toed sloth thing. But I think that if that was the case, that would have been one of those things that they knew right off the bat. Like, we know what 3-toed sloth skeletons look like.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Right.
But, yeah, exactly. So, all right, anyway. So let's move on to a ghost story. A haunting.
Good.
Yes. Okay, so this is a story from Sweden. And it's about Queen Sylvia of Sweden, who believes her royal palace is haunted.
Oh.
And of course it is. It's a royal palace from the 17th century.
Doesn't that kind of go with the territory, though?
I think so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure when they build a royal palace that they instantly kill someone in it.
just make sure it's haunted.
I mean, it's just like a ship. It's like champagne, with a royal palace, I think it's like peasant, Oh, look, it's the red lady. She seems very angry.
The red lady.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, this supposedly comes from a documentary that was being filmed that's going to be aired on Swedish TV about the palace. It's called Drottningholm Palace. A Royal Home is the name of the documentary that they were doing.
Of course it is.
Yes. And so they were interviewing her and she was talking about it, and she just happened to mention that she shares the palace with her ghost friends, that there are ghosts there and they're friendly and she's not scared of them. And of course the palace has ghosts. You know, it's a palace.
That's kind of awesome.
It is kind of cool. She said on TV. And the king, that she's married to the king, his sister, Princess Christina, she actually backed up the Queen's statements when she was interviewed for the documentary.
Well, of course she did.
Yes.
Be off with her head if she didn't.
So
you don't go against the Queen.
There was a Swedish website also that joked that amateur ghost hunters should go and try and back up the claim, because obviously you can visit the castle. It's open to the public every day, except for like an area where they live. They have like one wing blocked off where the royals live, but you can actually go and visit the palace.
There's a lot of those big houses like that just to pay for the place, you know. But really, I mean, all you have to do is take a recorder in there, and I guarantee you in 2 minutes you're going to get some really good quality EVPs.
Oh, I'm sure.
So somebody who's listening that's out there right now, go get us an EVP and send it, please.
Yeah, because we don't live in a country where there are palaces.
No, not good ones anyway.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go on to a story about some things that went viral recently.
I bet I know what this is.
What do you think this is?
I don't know, maybe a picture.
There is a picture, yes.
And it went very viral.
It did. It got picked up by a lot of local news, like actual ABCs and things like that.
Well, don't you tell us about it, Stacey?
I will. Okay, so this is a picture that was posted by Richard Christensen, and it's a picture of a shadowy figure that looks kind of like a demon.
Right.
And everybody's calling it the demon sighting picture or whatever.
Right.
And I think he did it was on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day was when it was posted, and from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
And it has all the hallmarks of a paranormal picture.
It does. It's
blurry
and grainy. You can barely see it. It could possibly be a million other things.
No pictures before or after.
Exactly. Just the picture. And they have like the original picture and the super zoomed in version.
Yeah. It's like he went to the school for paranormal photography.
He bought the special camera.
He did.
He bought the paranormal camera.
The Yeti camera we used to sell.
Exactly. Where
guaranteed to always be blurry.
So anyway,
shoots video at 3-second burst.
And that's it.
And that's it for the day. You have to wait till the next day.
You can even put it on shaky mode for your UFO videos.
Oh, that's the best.
I love the shaky mode.
Yes.
So anyway, so this got picked up and a lot of people were showing it around. Now the post has since been deleted. You can't find the original anymore, but it's everywhere, so you can still see the picture.
That's weird that it got deleted.
So I'm thinking, you think maybe he was like super drunk because it was New Year's and he took this picture, and I don't know, it was a creepy picture.
Yeah, it was. It looks like a palm tree.
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
It does kind of look like that, or some kind of tree or something. And it's very hazy. The light's back because it's middle of the night or something.
Rain.
But I thought it was weird that it got picked up by so many places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, that's just the thirst.
I guess so.
The thirst for the unknown. When it's out there, man, I mean, people they're ready. I think stories like this and wildfire like this is all the reason to have disclosure on everything.
True.
Because you know what? It seems like people are just ready. They're hungry for it. And you see little old ladies sharing it.
Right.
Like, oh, did you see this demon picture? You know?
I don't know why he would have deleted it. I mean, that kind of publicity, you think.
Well, that honestly puts more validity to it than anything.
He deleted it, I guess so.
It's a weird picture. It is. It's a creepy picture, and I'm sure all of you have seen it. If you haven't, go to paranormalsideshow.com.
Yes, it'll be there for you to see.
And see it. It's a creepy picture, but it could be a million things, like you said. So if it can be anything else, we can't really use it as anything but just odd.
No, exactly. It's just one of those things you have to look at and see what you think. On the same kind of line of viral things going out, there's a video that's kind of going around. It's not technically super viral yet, but it's on its way.
But it's getting there.
It is. And this is a video that was posted on Facebook, and it shows what they say is a kuntilanak.
Right.
Which is a spirit. It's actually a very specific kind of Indonesian folklore spirit. Supposedly it's said to be the vengeful spirit of a woman who died while she was pregnant, and it commonly takes the form of a bird and sucks the blood from virgins or young women.
Of course it does.
Yes. That's very specific.
I love the specific spirits.
So anyway, this is a video, and somebody is actually taking a video because there's some kind of gang war going on, some kind of incident, some violence. You can hear gunshots, and there's flashing lights and all kinds of people talking. But up at the top, there's a light, and out of the light comes like this wispy white smoke or something, and they claim that it's the spirits.
And I mean, it looks like a really cheap Walmart trash bag.
It does. To me, that was my first impression. My first impression when I looked at it was bag.
Right.
And then I asked you to look at it, and I didn't tell you what I thought, and your first impression was that it was a bag. That's what I think it is. But it's still worth a look.
Yeah, no, it's actually interesting because the first part of the video, there's nothing fly past that light, and then it does come out of that light. Now, I don't really know what's going on there. They can say gang. It could also be New Year's celebration.
Yeah, it's just hectic.
You just don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on. We'll say that, and some shots or something going on.
There is smoke in the air.
Yeah,
there is smoke in the air.
But this is different. This is. It looks neat. I mean, I will say that it's worth taking a look, getting your opinion of it, because it's interesting.
It is.
It could just very well be a ghost. So,
you never know. You never know.
Don't know.
So funny thing about this video was it was picked up after I saw it. I noticed that the story got picked up by the Sun. So let's talk about the Sun for just a second, because it's kind of, they have a lot of news stories, but it's very tabloidish, sort of. Now, I love a good tabloid. I remember when we could buy Weekly World News at the grocery store.
Yeah, you
every week.
Yeah.
I love it. I'd read it all the time. But you have to be really careful with stuff that you see there. Some of the stories, now a lot of stories could be true, even though they're weird.
Right.
You never know. But they will pay you for your story. So you have to be careful.
Right.
Like it says on their website that they'll pay you for the story. So some of the stories they've been putting out recently.
I'm going to take a picture of you and put, I married a 400-year-old witch.
They would probably print that. Oh, we could make some money.
We could.
Oh, anyway. So the reason I bring that up is because there's been some stories coming out lately about Antarctica, and we've talked about Antarctica and how weird it is.
It is
and
weird.
How all the weird things
it's all the weird rage right now.
I know it is. And so we've seen a few stories, and most of these stories that have come out recently are from the Sun. So you don't really see them anywhere else. Right.
Because Antarctica is bank right now.
I'm telling you. So I just wanted to mention a couple of the ones that we'd seen because I think they're kind of funny.
All right.
So recently, we've had the domed fort.
Yes.
Under the ice, which I think is hilarious. It's like supposedly this big round section where the ice is obviously melting and cracking.
The Mott and Bailey.
Yeah, and it supposedly is a castle coming through the ice.
Yes.
Yes, I love that one. And then there's the giant staircase that somebody found with Google
And
Earth.
I mean giant staircase.
Yes, massively giant.
No, you know what? That one I will defend.
Okay.
It looks like a step pyramid.
It does.
It looks like a step pyramid.
It does.
And could very well be one. So,
it could.
You have to look at this stuff objectively both ways.
Yes. And then they did have the story where they sensationalized the giant crack.
Yes.
Which is like 70 miles long, which is actually a natural thing and has happened before and will continue to happen.
Yes. I just like hearing you say giant crack.
But my point is, I just hope.
It's like my Yeti butt.
I hope this doesn't turn into another one of those Mars rover picture things. Do you remember what happened?
No, I remember it bothered you. I personally like it.
Well, whenever all those pictures came out from the
Mars,
the Mars rover, everybody was like zooming in on them and inspecting all the rocks, and you get all these stories.
Well, it's just the same thing as with orbs. Do you remember when people first started going ghost hunting?
Oh wow, yes.
And everybody, I remember people coming to our house and saying, they would call first back before cell phones,
right?
And they'd be like, "Are you home?" Yeah, I'm home. And then I'm thinking of one person in particular, Josh, and his name was Josh. And I remember him coming over with his laptop,
right,
and being like, "You got to look at this," because he does sound like Batman.
He does kind of,
and
he does it on purpose.
And he was just like, "Check it out. I've been looking at it for hours." And
which is clue number one.
He was a police officer. So while he was doing his police officering,
while he was working,
he was taking digital pictures of any creepy house in the area. God love him.
Well, I mean,
and
perks,
no,
right?
hey, we found a lot of good investigations this way,
right?
But I remember him showing me this, and there was maybe 500 pieces of dust, right? Just it was probably raining.
Right.
Somebody just had a dust sneeze. there was a lot of orbs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And he's like, "Can you believe how many spirits there are here?" I'm like, no, I really can't. And he would zoom in like 5,000 times zoom, and see they all have faces.
Yeah, because of the pixelation.
All right, every one of them has a face. Look at this one. This one's screaming. And I'd be like, this one looks happy.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about it until you just said it.
Yeah. And it was just all these. And
Yeah.
everybody was zooming. Now, here's my thing. Okay. We started this because we seen a full-bodied apparition.
Right.
We didn't see a ball of dust.
Exactly.
We didn't see an orb. Now, I'm not pooping on orbs. Okay.
No.
I am fairly positive that there are orbs that are actual phenomena, and and truly I believe this, and they are spirits. That's all the spirit can manifest at that time. And you can capture with a digital camera some pretty good manifestations of spirit energy in the shape of an orb.
Yes.
Okay, but more so than not, you're looking at a piece of dust.
Yes,
you're
or a
looking,
bug.
You're looking at a natural phenomenon.
Right.
You know, you have to have really good gear, knowing what you're looking at. Absolutely have. And before I would ever put it out as evidence,
Right.
you know, I would probably think twice or thrice about doing such things, just because there's so many chances that it could be something else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, basically, you remember my Dallas Cowboys analogy with the wearing a Dallas Cowboys or wearing a New York Jets jersey?
Right.
It's kind of that. It's kind of that with the orbs.
Right.
You know, if I see an orb picture, I'm thinking, well, you know, either they never got over that,
right,
or they know something way more than I do.
Something like that.
So, which can be the case.
Well, my point of this whole thing was we went through the whole Mars thing where, you know, it was like it went from this could be a pyramid to here's a Yeti riding a unicycle across a suspended bridge on two pyramids. That it went that far.
Man, I really hope that's.
I mean, I honestly think there was really a story about a Yeti on a motorcycle.
Dear God.
I swear on Mars. I swear that was the story. But I just want to say, let's not do that this time. Can we not do that with Antarctica, please? Can we not Google Earth Antarctica?
So you don't want to make Antarctica silly?
No, I don't want to make it silly. I mean, if you want to Google Earth, it fine, but be good with it.
I have resisted the urge.
Right.
To go to Antarctica on Google Earth.
Have you?
Yes. Because I really wanted to go. I will admit.
You wanted to take that Google Earth train?
That I wanted to go and look at it and try to find something.
Yes, but you're not the type of person that would see something and immediately claim that it was.
No, because I see stuff all the time and don't tell anyone.
A giant fork or whatever, you know?
No.
So anyway, all right, I have one more story.
All right.
One more story. And this is kind of an update. Okay. So we did a story on one of our episodes. It was the episode about curses.
Right.
The How to Curse a Guy in 10 Days episode,
Right.
which is actually about curses and not a practical, assessment of how to do it. Just
Right.
if you haven't listened to that episode, it's not a guide. It's just about curses. So anyway, so I did a story about this guy who was trying to get a world record for having the largest Ouija board. Do you remember this story?
Yes.
He lives at the Grand Midway Hotel somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, on top of the hotel.
He made it on top of it. So he got the record. It's on the website. He got the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest Ouija board. He just
the
found
most
out.
haunted hotel in the world.
Maybe now. So if you didn't hear the story before, it's the Grand Midway Hotel, and it's this huge Ouija board. They painted it on the roof. It's 44 feet by 29 feet.
Wow.
And they made a 10-foot planchette on wheels that can move around on the roof. That's they had some people come out. The man's name's Blair Murphy, and he had some friends. He had a whole team that helped him do it. They had some people come and take aerial photography of it. They took a bunch of pictures of it, and they submitted everything to the Guinness World Records, and they actually put it. I went to the website and found it.
Wow.
Largest Ouija board ever created. There you are. So there's a goal for you now. If you ever wanted to be in Guinness Book of World Records, here's a record you can break.
Yes, absolutely.
Make a bigger Ouija board.
And I've got an idea already.
What is that?
So what we need is some scientists and researchers, because we can't do this one on our own.
Okay.
Maybe Buzz Aldrin.
Maybe.
Let's make a giant Ouija board in Antarctica.
There
There's a lot of landmass.
I don't think Buzz Aldrin should get back to Antarctica.
It's not using. They're not using it, right?
Right.
There's a whole lot of land. Let's just go, and
then everybody could just look at it on Google Earth.
Yeah, and what they could do is if we had like, I don't know, 1,000 scientists go down there and do it, they could all pee in the snow to make the giant Ouija board in the snow.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
That's
come
one
on.
way. That's one way to do it.
That's probably 2 records.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, you've got the most people peeing to create a pattern together ever.
Right.
And you've got the world's largest Ouija board.
Yes.
And it's in Antarctica.
Yeah, it could be like the world's coldest Ouija board.
And what we need to do is not tell anyone we did it. Okay? We don't tell anyone we did it. And then one of these guys that
Google Earth.
we might have to wait 2 years.
You never. I doubt it.
It takes a while for the Google Earth to update, take new pictures off satellites.
True.
So when they do, we'll get a good laugh, right?
Yeah. We definitely laugh. Right. That's for sure.
So we just put the idea in the universe.
Somebody's going to do it.
It can happen.
It could happen.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, that was all my news.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I think we're in dire need of a main attraction.
Yes.
Honored guest, friends, and marks, we here at the Paranormal Sideshow would ask that those faint of heart or weak of the knees to please switch off this broadcast, as it's time for the supernatural spectacle, a mystery wrapped inside of an enigma and stuffed neatly inside of a Tijuana taco roll. It's now time for our main attraction.
All right, it's time for our main attraction, and I'm pretty excited about this because we are actually sitting at a round table.
We are.
Having a round table discussion. It can't get much more ironic than that.
That's true.
And I'm pretty excited about it. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we are once again bringing back our good friend of the show, Allen Marston.
Yes.
And Allen, we had on the show and talked about the Mandela Effect.
Yes, that was a good show.
Was it?
Well, it
did
was
we
weird.
Did we actually do it?
We did. I remember that we did.
I don't remember it. Yeah, but we brought Allen in, and since that time, Allen has dove down that hole even deeper.
Exactly.
And has been trying to grab branches on the way, but he keeps falling deeper and deeper into it because I picture Allen kind of like I can see Homer Simpson right now, and not because he looks like Homer Simpson, but because of the
fact. Good thing you clarified that.
Yeah, I thought I need to make that clear. Because of the simple fact of if there was a Simpsons episode where Homer went into the Mandela Effect,
right?
You could hear it every 20 days or so, like, oh, because there's something else that he finds that no one else remembers.
Exactly.
It's totally a cartoon, but it's that weird. It's that freaking weird, and it's real. So Allen will be actually talking at some cons and some speaking events about the Mandela Effect. So we're really excited to have him on the show to speak about this again. And what we're doing, we're each going to bring up a topic.
Yes.
And I'm pretty excited about having Allen. Allen, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
It's good to have you back, man. It's pretty brave of you to rejoin us.
Oh, no, I'm glad to come around anytime you guys want me.
Well, good. We'll take you up on that. I'm going to get this party started because I have to talk about something that's killing me. We've had shows in the past completely dedicated to mysterious booms. 100% dedicated entirely to the phenomenon that seemed to really come on in 2011, 2012, a year or so after our show started, about mysterious booms and unexplained, right?
Right.
So it's really taken a turn as far as I'm concerned. And there's so much good evidence out there now about mysterious booms. There's great evidence out there about this weird, I hate to even call it mysterious booms anymore.
Right.
Because it's more than that. If you listen to it, there's this sound from the sky or from the ground or from somewhere, and it's this horrific grinding, and it's hard to explain what the sound is.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound like anything you've ever heard.
No, and it's very troubling. And when you start looking at videos that have been captured by people, it's literally around the world. So around the world, you can look at Norway, you can look at the UK, you can look at Germany or Africa or wherever, India. There's these sounds being captured. And the crazy thing about it is they are similar. I mean, it sounds like the same phenomena. It sounds like the same thing. It's not just that I hear something weird and you hear something weird.
Right.
What really makes it weird is when you hear the same thing, right?
Right.
So associated with this phenomena, sometimes people just hear that. Sometimes people feel the booms, and when they do, it's like a cannon goes off. There's no explanation for it. Police, law enforcement, they can't figure it out. Sometimes mayors are involved trying to figure this out.
Right.
They can't figure it out. I've seen it crack foundations on houses.
So sometimes you're saying sometimes there's actually booms with physical, like you can actually feel it, not just hear it.
Right.
And then,
absolutely.
And then sometimes it's the grinding noise.
Absolutely.
And you don't feel anything with that.
No, not that I'm aware of. You don't feel anything with that. It's just very, very interesting. The crazy thing is about the increase in these, okay? So from 1999 to 2010, there were 44 reports. And when I say reports, local news stations.
Right.
Okay? For me, I don't trust the news, but I trust local news.
Right.
Okay. A lot of times your local news stories will pick up these amazing stories, but they'll never make it to the national news.
Gotcha.
Local news, you have to really scour it, and you can find some really good stuff that's happening in a community.
Yeah.
It's the modern day newspaper.
Yeah. I love little community papers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You always find interesting things in there. So
Right.
you're talking about 44 like documented.
Right. 44 documented cases
Where you
between
can see it. Okay.
between 1999 and 2010.
I can't believe it goes back to 1999.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's some mysterious booms that go back 100 years or more.
Wow. I just never heard about it, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, when you have just 44 in that span of time and it's probably all localized,
right?
People just get over that. Think about it. If you walk outside on your way to work, Allen, and you're getting ready to go to work and you hear something strange, but you're late for work, are you really going to think about that later in the day?
Actually, yeah, because we've actually had it happen here.
Oh, you had some mysterious booms happen there.
Yes, sir. Me and my wife heard it.
Oh, wow.
And then later in the day, my dad calls, want to know, because that was back during the time when I was a volunteer fireman. Yes, what did y'all have this morning? I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, well, there was a loud boom this morning. We figured that something blew up.
Oh.
And we didn't have anything. But come to find out after calling dispatch, and they said that they had actually had, multiple reports on it.
Wow. Huh. Wow, so you're kind of on the end there. You got the inside track on that. So have you heard of anything like that in your general area other than that?
No. Let's see. As far as the booms, it's only been like 2 or 3, and they were, I guess the closest together was maybe roughly around 4 months apart. One time hunting, my son and I, we were out in the woods, and you could actually hear a grinding noise. And it actually sounded like heavy machinery moving. So we went up the hill because we figured they were working in the next field and nothing was there.
Right.
We went back down. You could hear it. You move up. You couldn't hear it. You move down below it. You couldn't hear it. It was just in this one spot.
Wow. Well, that's, the heavy machinery noise is kind of what I was talking about. And in fact, to go on with what I was saying, this is the weird part. From 2011 to 2016, 450 reports.
Wow.
Local news stations, different documented reports of this happening.
Right. So that doesn't even count just when people put it on YouTube and say, I heard this.
This doesn't count just YouTube.
Right.
Okay. This doesn't count just personal accounts. This is 450 from 2011 to 2016.
Wow.
Documented news stories. And that's the increase from 44 to 450.
Well, I know 2011 is kind of when we started really
noticing it
and doing stories on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean that's just crazy that it would increase that much. And like I said, some people hear the boom, some people hear the grinding, the hum, electronic noise. Some people describe it as a whale sound. Some people say it comes from the sky. Some people say underground. Some people say oceans.
Oh yeah, we did have that one sound from the bottom of the ocean that we just talked about.
Right. And interestingly enough, the sky one is just creepy, man. And I'm going to play a couple of real quick clips here. And this first one is in India. And it's in Dubai. That's the photographer that's talking. And of course, you're just hearing traffic noise and stuff. But the first one, it's not a great example of it. I have a better one here. There it is again. Almost like a well, but here, this one I love from Canada. No explanation for that.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, and there's far more hardcore ones than that. It's just very interesting, and that's kind of like two pieces of heavy machinery together, or some heavy machinery that's not oiled, you know. But that doesn't explain anything,
No.
because it's happening all over the world, and you know, and there's the ferocity that we're getting this stuff, and there's a lot of theories on it. You know, people have theories, right?
Right.
When it's unexplained. Natural causes, they're saying, could be earthquakes, frost quakes, climate change.
Climate change.
Sounds from the Earth's core, you know, which...
Those sound like scientist theories.
It does. The mysterious booms could be something to do with our core. We have no idea, right? But that... to me, it doesn't explain the sound coming from the sky, because it does seem like it's coming from the sky.
Right.
And the thing is, this hasn't happened before. You know, it's just not happened before.
Well, obviously, I mean, you talked about how the reports
Right.
went up, so...
Yeah, and I mean, people, I've also said sonic booms, secret aviation technologies, machinery, construction, blah, blah, blah. Some of the conspiracy theories on it was an escape tunnel for the president. That was in Maryland. You know...
I like that one. Yeah, that one town, they thought that they were digging a tunnel out for the president. That's great.
Project Bluebeam, which is the one that, you know, we've talked about before. The Project Bluebeam, though...
Yeah, well, I mean, I've read about that one, and some of it sounds like it could be true, but it's just all put together. It's so strange. The weird thing about it is the guy that talked about Project Bluebeam was way back in 1994, was when he came out with this. And this was before all these mysterious booms. And the way the mysterious booms fit into it is supposedly Project Bluebeam is a way to bring about the New World Order, if you're up on your conspiracy theory lore. And supposedly it's going to happen in 4 steps. And the 4 steps, like the first step, they're supposed to have all these archaeological discoveries that break down what people believe religiously. You know, they're supposed to find things that contradict religious beliefs. In other words, they're trying to break down modern religion. The second step would be to do some kind of giant space show, like putting 3D holograms in space, which, funny enough, we had that story one time about that city that appeared over China that people said was a hologram, and everybody laughed about it, that kind of thing. Then the third step supposedly is working on telepathic two-way communication, like, in other words, communicating with people telepathically with radio waves, low frequency radio waves, mind control, that kind of thing, you know, where you tell people to do things and they just do it because they don't know that you're communicating with them, which obviously I believe our military works on. Yeah. That's a whole different conspiracy thing. And then the fourth step, the main one, would be to create a chaotic event, a false flag, as you will, that leads people to want the one world government to save them. And that's where the mysterious booms come in. Like, I believe the conspiracy theorists say that they're doing this, that they're doing it on purpose, so that when they can false flag an alien attack or something, something cataclysmic. And so a lot of these noises are that.
Well, I agree with a lot of those parts of Project Bluebeam, because I do know that a lot of that, or I do believe a lot of that does happen. I mean, especially when you see like a mass tragedy happen with someone who was in the military and then came back differently and had a blank stare and
said he had voices
and was trying to tell people that the CIA was forcing this stuff.
I know, I can't believe he said that.
And you know, that just happened recently. Horrible tragedy, but it falls in line with so many conspiracy theories. And it's creepy. It's scary.
It is. Now, I don't know if all of this conspiracy theory altogether is very far-fetched, but...
Now, the thing for me with the mysterious booms, and I've said this before, why are we not leading off the nightly news with the fact that people are hearing strange noises all over the planet?
We have no idea what they are.
No, I mean, for real.
No, I agree.
Why do you not bring that out and say on the national news, the first story, this is strange, this is weird, we need to discuss this, we need to have a national discussion about what this could be. And that doesn't happen. So when something doesn't happen, when 10 million people see aliens, but then they want to joke about it, okay, then I think, oh, wow, somebody's hiding something.
Right.
It's the very obvious gorilla in the room that you're not talking about.
Right.
And that's one of the things that bother me with this is.
Well, so now, out of all of those theories, or maybe you have one of your own, what do you feel like? Because I mean, I don't feel like all these noises can be classified under one theory. Obviously, they're different kind of sounds, so some of them are going to be different than others. But in general, what do you think?
I personally believe that the booms and the sky trumpets are different. I believe it's a different phenomena.
Yes.
I believe the stuff happening in the ground could absolutely be something with change, with warming of the atmosphere, something. I believe it could definitely be something like that. Minor quakes.
Like pole shift. Are we supposed to be having a pole shift or something?
Whatever. I think that, but with the other part, if it's just my theory, I believe that it lines up too well in a timeline with some things that were happening at CERN. And I believe that what we could be hearing is almost like realities crashing together.
Right.
Holes in time and space, in the very fabric of time. I believe that something could be crashing through. That would be a reason why we wouldn't hear it. And the reason I think that is because that sound is so going against the grain. It's such a weird.
It's a very grating sound.
Yeah, it's such a troubling sound. Like it's almost like something that's not supposed to be happening.
Right.
And yet it is. So that would be me. What about you, Alan? What would your theories be?
As far as the booms themselves, it's hard to say, but a lot of it could be testing of different new crafts that they're working on. When you're breaking the sound barrier, you do get these loud booms, and you do get cracked foundations, windows busting out, different things like that. So there is damage that goes along with that. And I think that could be part of it. But I'm like you, I don't think they're all related. I think they're all their own specific era.
Right, right. What about the sounds from the sky? The strange mechanical, the thing that sounds like a T-Rex. I mean, any ideas on that?
I've seen some where some have debunked it, and this was only in places that had a lot of buildings, and they're saying wind, but if it was wind, wouldn't it do it all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it would be, just this one certain thing. The wind has to blow exactly this way at this speed to make this happen. That's kind of, I guess it's plausible, but,
yeah,
I don't think it's...
But then you wouldn't have, as I was mentioning, and over the entire planet.
Right.
And all at the same time.
I know there is a website where there's a map, an interactive map that has a lot of these things on it, and it's just red dots all over the map, and you can click on them and it'll pop up and tell you about that particular noise. And when you look at the map, it's like it's covered.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's just all red dots.
Yeah, and it's the whole world. I'll actually put a link up.
I did notice by looking at the map that on coastlines, it's just like somebody took a giant red marker and went down the coastline.
I noticed they kind of go around big cities.
But
too.
it's all, it's really bad. And that's just population in general. Yeah. But it's all over the entire freaking nation, because I was trying to look at ley lines. I was trying to look at, certain parallels.
Anything that would, but it's everywhere. I think you can if you look at the whole world, it's like the UK, there's tons of it in the UK.
Yeah,
of course, it's a little island, but
But it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, there's my soapbox, and I'm off of it. It's now time for me to turn it over to Mr. Allen to switch gears.
What we're going to start off with, I think we discussed before with Snow White, with the mirror on the wall.
Yes.
And now it's actually magic mirror on the wall. Well, I started looking at that a little bit more, and they're actually both correct.
Right.
As far as not on the movies, with the Brothers Grimm story, it originally, the way it was written, was mirror on the wall. Who in the land is the fairest of them all? Well, I guess when Disney took it over, they switched it over to magic mirror on the wall. And I think that kind of plays into part of what could be making the Mandela Effect work, where you're taking different bits of information, but you're putting it all together to where it makes sense for one thing, and it just gets compressed into one general memory,
Right, exactly. Right. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
With some of the more, the Empire Strikes Back one,
right.
that one is probably one of the more troubling ones to me. it's still plausible to me that I could have just remembered it incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had that interview with, who was it, James Earl Jones?
Yes.
Yes.
That actually said, because he spoke the line so many times, that he did say that, so something's going on. It's not just everything is a mistaken memory,
Right. But just like with the paranormal, we have to point out with deadly accuracy, which you're doing, and you've always been real good at this, of the possibilities that it could be.
Yeah, and I got to looking back into some more things, and it's still, since we're kind of on media and movies, Risky Business.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the shirt that he was wearing when he was doing the dance scene?
Yeah, absolutely.
When he slides. Okay. All right. So what color was the shirt?
It was white.
Well, yeah, for me, it was white or gray.
Right, and that seems to be what everybody remembers. But when you go back and look at it, it was actually a pink shirt.
Huh.
That's weird.
No, that is kind of weird.
Yeah, I thought it was white.
Yeah, because, everything you see that does, any kind of rendition of it, they're wearing a white shirt. So,
Oh, yeah.
it kind of seems that they feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that one's kind of strange.
That is strange. Yeah, because I don't remember it being pink.
Yeah, and
Yeah. And also, let's see, Star Trek. I don't know how big you are on Star Trek.
I like it.
The Beam Me Up Scotty,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think everybody says, evidently it was never said in the original Star Trek.
Not a single time, huh?
No, there's different little variations that are close to that, but it never was Beam Me Up Scotty.
Right. Now that's just interesting. And
Yeah.
I could kind of see where that one would.
Yeah, where it would be a mishmash. And I'm not a big enough Star Trek fan to remember how it was said, but I could see how that could get pushed together maybe.
Right.
Take Sherlock Holmes. He never said elementary, my dear Watson.
Yeah. Now that one I do know. And that's just because of being a huge fan of the books. So.
Right.
I didn't know that. He never actually said that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he does say elementary.
Right.
It's crazy that's such a famous
line.
Famous line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was one of the books where he did say those words close to each other, but they weren't in the same sentence or in the same context. It was two totally different things when he was talking about it.
To switch gears, if anybody hasn't read those masterpieces, just to hear him cut down Watson continuously is well worth it.
Yeah, that makes it right there. So we also have a couple different possibilities that I've been looking over, trying to figure out this, and it's, as you said, the wormhole just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And
you're welcome for that, by the way.
Other little, yeah, right. And it has all these, and it's weird. My daughter, the week before we did the show, actually said something to me about this, and so she brought it up, and then we all just kind of kicked it off, and oh gosh, it's branches going off everywhere now.
What did she say?
Well, she said, "Have you ever heard of the Mandela Effect?" I'd heard of it, but I hadn't really looked into it that deep.
Right.
And then she started saying some things, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it was this," and it just started off a whole discussion. I mean, kind of like you guys, except it's my daughter's in on it, and now I think my son's starting to talk a little bit about different things he's seeing, And
well, no, that's great.
So oh yeah, so I mean, we just started to discuss everything. We'll sit down and watch some of the shows, and then talk about them. And so it's a whole family thing now.
Oh no, that's our goal. So, no, it's so strange. It's just such a strange phenomenon because you can dismiss many things, and maybe you can dismiss. I don't want to put a percent on it, but maybe 75% you can dismiss easily. Right. And a lot of this stuff is not business critical. It's not, it doesn't matter that much in our lives to just say, "Oh, well, I remembered it incorrectly," and keep going. But then you have people like us. You have people who have to question because we've seen too many things that are force-fed to us. And what we're noticing with this Mandela effect is there are a lot of people out there who are awake. And a lot of people are going, "No, that's not how it happened. That's not correct." And Allen, I never particularly liked this certain comedian, but the Sinbad thing, I have friends from wrestling who are absolutely 100%, and this is really strange, and I'm going to just say it by name, Chris Richards, who I wrestled with for a decade. We are close as brothers. And the thing about Chris is Chris has the best memory of anyone I've ever met. Now, he can recall with painstaking accuracy drunken nights at 4 a.m. and exact words that were said. He can recall things that happened in matches wrestling matches that we had. It could be 9 years ago, and he'll be like, do you remember when we were in this town in West Virginia? Do you remember when we were in Mount Hope? No, I don't remember any names of any towns. No, I mean, I just don't, and that's me. And yes, part of that is from, really enjoying the ride, but he remembers things. And the reason I'm saying that is I've never met anyone with a memory like him, yet he remembers that movie by Sinbad.
Oh, the one where he's a genie.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
He remembers that as a child. Now, have you had anybody talk to you about that one, or?
Yeah, supposedly, and some people are remembering. Well, you know how Shaq did the movie,
right?
And what was it called, like Kazam or something?
Kazam.
Well, supposedly this was called Shazam.
Right.
And there's been some things on the internet, but as far as how Photoshop and stuff is now, anybody can make anything. So I need to see it in my hands. But the funny part of this is they've talked to Sinbad, and he's gonna make this movie.
That's funny. He's like, that's a good idea.
So here's the thing. Are they just going to roll out what they had done before and just bring it out as a new movie? Or are they actually going to film this movie,
Chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
So
right.
Weird.
That's really interesting, though. I mean, that's and the thing about it is, here's where it gets interesting for me. So let's say that the movie did exist, but time changed. Something happened. And that now the movie does not exist any longer. What if Sinbad himself doesn't remember doing it? You know what I mean? Like,
right. I don't think he does.
I know. Yeah. But what if he did do it? That's how strange this is the fact of he could have done it and not remember doing it. That's where this gets crazy. That if something like that did happen, it's just so bizarre.
Right. Did we talk about the cup of noodles thing?
No.
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
Okay, so you know that a lot of the products get rebranded from time to time. So I mean, this could be something or it couldn't be. I remember specifically, especially in college, cup of noodles with the O and the apostrophe in the middle of it. Well, now if you find them now, it's just cup noodles, and that's all it is. So
there's no
I don't know if it's just
O?
a rebranding thing. No, there's no O on it now.
That's strange.
So I don't know if it's rebranding or if it's actually, the Mandela Effect.
Right. That's very strange.
Yeah.
And all the ones we talked about on the original show, all the ones you brought to us here, out of all those, Allen, which one for you? What's the game changer for you? What's the one that keeps you up at night? What's the one that really bothers you the most?
All right. So I don't know if we talked about this one, and this actually happened the other day. Forrest Gump was on.
Right.
And I was like, all right, so after we talked about the life is a box of chocolates versus life was a box of chocolates thing, I was like, I'll watch it again. So I'm sitting there watching it, and I got to laughing with my wife, and I looked at her, I said, I'm sorry to ruin your Black Panther party. And she just laughed, and then the scene actually came up. And guess what? That's not in there. It actually says, let me see if I can find it here, it says, sorry I had a fight in your Black Panther party. And I looked at her and I said, oh, wait a minute, what did you just say? she repeated it. And I was like, that's not right. And she goes, well, it's there, so it's got to be right. And I was like, I don't think so.
Wow.
So, and that's the one that's kind of kicked me off a little bit because I specifically remember that.
Right.
But now it wasn't as I remembered.
Yeah, no, that
is weird.
It's weird because some of these things are happening in things that, I mean, Forrest Gump is it's a movie for a generation. It's one of those Star Wars type movies. That's what's really getting me about all of it.
Yeah.
It's almost like little clues.
Yeah, it's because it's one of those movies that you quote. It's always movies that like people have a lot of quotes from. A lot of people have seen it.
Right.
It's very strange.
Absolutely.
Kind of like if you change Shawshank,
Oh yeah.
just wouldn't be right.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's very cool though. We could probably talk about this subject for freaking years, and I'm sure we will.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I literally have 4 pages so far of things like that.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. Throw out 3 of them to me.
All right, let's see. All right, do you remember Different Strokes, the TV show?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I watched it all the time.
Okay. Do you remember the way that it was spelled? Was it Different Strokes, or was it DIFF apostrophe RENT strokes?
I think I remember the apostrophe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I didn't watch it, so.
Okay. Yeah, I remembered it actually being spelled out, but evidently it isn't. Stacey, you'd be right that it does have the apostrophe in it.
Well,
I feel like that's how it was, but
that's the Mandela Effect.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah.
So, I mean, some people remember all this stuff the other way.
Yeah, because it changed.
Yeah, and just not everybody has it. And to be fair, that's one of the strange things about it. For every 1 million that remember it one way, there's 2 million that remember it another way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Another one, the Lindbergh baby.
Yes.
For a while, I didn't think they had found it. Maybe just where I live, I'd never heard it. But evidently they found the baby May 12th, 1932. So there was a lot of people, me included, that didn't realize that they had found the baby, but they did find the baby.
No, I didn't think the baby was ever found.
Yeah, I didn't either. And then it said it was May 12th, 1932. So I actually looked it up a couple of different places and actually found that.
So it did find other people that didn't believe or didn't think that the baby had been found. Wow.
Right.
I'm not that good with history, so I'm not. I wouldn't remember that.
Right. And I'll give you one last one. Do you remember when they were showing all the footage of Tiananmen Square?
Oh yeah.
With the tanks and all going through it. Right. Do you remember a guy getting run over by a tank?
No.
It was something like they showed him getting hit, and then later they were reporting on like the blood splatter on the ground or something like that.
Yeah, no, I remember vividly. I remember him standing in front of the tank, defiantly. Now I don't remember anything other than that.
Yeah, and if you go back now, you're not going to find anything like that showing where anybody got run over.
Now come on.
That's weird.
Yeah, from what I can find.
There's not that many like that, like where it's actually iconic moments. The only ones we've heard of is that one, and then something about the JFK thing. There were not as many people in the car or something.
Yeah, but if you started seeing
the 4 and the 6.
Right. So what if they were, let's just go out here on this limb for a second.
Right.
What if they were toying around with changing some things?
Right.
To see how it worked.
Right.
And they were able to change, like, hey, can you change a line in Empire Strikes Back? Mm-hmm. Can we change this?
Well, I think we brought that up on the show, didn't we?
Let's subtly do this. Mm-hmm. Now, let's change things that happen.
Let's see if anybody notices these little things.
Oh.
It's scary to think about, isn't it?
Let's flip that for a second. We flip it around and let's say, let's do the big thing. But let's throw all these little things out to make people doubt that ever happened, just to kind of like of course, to shadow it,
So kind of like a disinformation thing, like put doubt on it before they do it so that people think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we see them do that in everything else.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought.
Absolutely. Well, let's climb back out of this hole for a second. I believe Stacey has our final topic, and it's something very interesting and near and dear to our hearts on the show.
Yes. So the topic I brought today, I was actually just going to talk about some of the really interesting things that have just been recently discovered in space. I mean, we're talking about the past year and some interesting things about that. So some of the things that they discovered recently this last year, one of them is Niku.
Right.
Which it was discovered by some researchers using that panoramic survey telescope and the rapid response system like they have in Hawaii. And what Niku is it's an object out past Neptune, like way out there.
Right.
But the weird thing about it is that it orbits the wrong direction.
Right.
It orbits opposite of almost everything else in the whole solar system.
Retrograde.
Yes, retrograde. So it's about 35 times farther away from the sun than Earth is. So it's way, way out there. But after they found it, it prompted them to look and see if they could find anything else. And so after they did their test, they found 5 other objects that also orbit in retrograde. And the strange thing about it was all of these things kind of orbit on a common plane. Like they're not just randomly dispersed through the sky. They're all kind of in a weird alignment.
And because of this, I believe they think that there could be another planet out there that goes on a...
Well, I mean, they're not really sure. There are theories. There's that, or they think that maybe the sun has done something like pulled it, or there's a lot of different theories.
Right.
But yes. So that's one of the things that they found that was really interesting this year.
Right.
Another thing is the Proxima Centauri b.
Right.
And of course, Proxima Centauri is the closest star to Earth. It's the closest one that we can get to. And so they've discovered this planet that lies within this star's habitable zone.
The Goldilocks zone.
Yes, they call it Proxima Centauri b, which means that it could possibly have liquid water. It's about 1.3 times the mass of Earth. And so this is actually our closest possible other civilization.
So let me stop you right there. Mm-hmm. And Alan, I'll have you join in to, on this. Growing up in school, I've always been a big space geek anyway. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things was we're the only place with liquid water.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, that's the way it's always been. And I don't think we're making big enough deal about this. When they found water on Mars, it was somewhat of a big deal. But when you're saying that there's a planet that they're pretty sure is in the Goldilocks zone,
right,
of its star, and there's water, see,
well, they don't know that there's water. They said it's got the potential,
the distinct possibility that there's water.
Yes,
if we can absolutely find out that there is water on that planet,
right,
in a habitable zone, you know what that means.
Yeah, there's life there, most likely.
It has to be life there. I mean,
some kind.
Yeah, I mean, and we may not be talking about the whole discussion with this is a little bit weird with me because I absolutely believe that there's already other life here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know some people though want to have it fed to them with the facts and the numbers and I get that.
They want to see it. They want to see it with their own eyes. I gotcha.
But this is a big deal.
It is. And this planet is actually, we did the story, I think it was last week, about METI. Remember?
Yes.
The messaging extra. This is the planet that they want to send the signals to.
Right.
They want to target this because it's closest to us. And obviously they think that there's a potential for life there.
Right.
So that's what the ones they want to do. So another thing that was this past year, of course, was Tabby Star. And we've talked about that a lot. The alien megastructure star that is dimming and they can't figure out why. And conspiracy theories
the
say
Dyson ball.
They're constructing an alien race is constructing a Dyson sphere around it, and that's why it's dimming. Yes, and they've got tons of theories, and they're all.
Well, usually when we do that, it's on the news. So I'm going to ask Alan.
Right.
Alan, you've listened. You know all about the Dyson sphere. So what do you think of Tabby Star?
Oh man, it's just so many. I honestly don't have an actual, opinion about it.
No, that's
still
fine.
trying to get, wrap my mind around a lot of the other things because that's one of the things I've started to start looking into is space itself, and I haven't been, on that side of it for a while. So.
Yeah, well, I have to apologize because like I've said before on the show, I had the subscription to astronomy and, I was the space camp wannabe kid there that it was always I wanted to be an astronaut. But I just wanted to be an astronaut to explore.
Yeah,
I wanted to go.
Because you want to know what was out there.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the paranormal. I mean, to me, it's all relative.
Right.
I just want to unravel the mysteries.
Right. Well, okay, so let me continue here. So then another thing that was discovered this past year was a strong signal was detected from a star. It's called HD 164595. I'm sure you all know which star that is exactly by the number. It's about 94 light years from Earth, and a Russian telescope detected a really strong signal from that one. So SETI is also examining it. I'm trying to corroborate the signal, but it was very strange.
Well,
like they had no idea where that one.
Now that's
was
the
coming
one
from.
making all the rounds still, correct?
No. That one was earlier on. The one that's making all the rounds still are the fast radio bursts, which was also this year. This was more recently, and this one they actually know where this is coming from.
Yeah, they pinpointed it, right?
This one, yes, this one is about 3 billion light years away, where the other one was only 94.
Right.
But what happened?
Well, at least it's not 3 billion heavy years away.
Exactly. Very funny. So the reason they've got this one is they have a lot of these fast radio bursts that are coming from the same spot in
Right.
space. Now, normally they'll get fast radio bursts, but it'll just be a couple seconds and it'll just be one time and there's no way to trace it. But for some reason, it's been like, there was like 15, 16, 17, all came from the exact same area. So they were able to catch it and they were able to pinpoint it. And it's coming from the constellation Auriga, I think is how you say it.
Arriba.
And these are the only ones they've ever found that actually repeat. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole new thing.
So now I do know about this because I'll be honest with you. This one has tickled my fancy.
Right.
I've seen some of the explanations. Okay, now here I'm going to use Allen's philosophy on this.
Right.
If now all those theories that I've heard are plausible. Okay, they're all could actually be the reason or the cause. But why is it not happening everywhere else? We're talking about space.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So we've had that drunk guy sitting in the SETI trailer for, years and years, 40 years, whatever.
Right.
And looking for something, waiting to hear something.
Right.
Right. I'm just saying, and of course I'm joking about all that, but
Right.
we would have this in other places. This could possibly be a white dwarf farting on a red dwarf, on the second
Right.
Tuesday on, after it ate pork.
Right.
I get that. But why is there not 5,000, 5 million, 5 billion other versions of this?
Well, I know these fast radio bursts, anytime they ever heard them before, they always explained it away as an explosion or something that happened in space. So this new discovery now where they've gotten the same thing in the same spot kind of rules that out. I mean, it just completely, gets rid of that. But another thing.
So what you're saying is because of the way they've got these fast radio bursts, it makes the other ones that they've captured more credible.
I guess so, yeah. Or at least makes them believe that it's not just a star exploding
Right.
or it's not just an anomaly.
Right.
But we also did that story this year about the radio signals, the 234 different stars that had this particular signal.
Right.
And the two scientists that went through all those records and they found this particular signal that they couldn't explain, and it was actually coming from 234 different stars.
Right.
So out of all these things that they discovered this last year, half of these stories are about signals from space that we're getting.
Right.
That they're just telling us about. So it kind of begs the question, are we all of a sudden getting these new signals, or are they just all of a sudden telling us about
The signal.
the signals?
Yeah, and it kind of goes in, it kind of ties everything that we've talked about together, doesn't it?
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
I talked about these mysterious sounds. Allen talked about the Mandela effect, and you talked about signals from space. Now, I use the chicken or the egg stuff all the time, but not in this case. It's weird. This is, like you said, are they dosing it out
Right.
to let us know? Or is it just all happening at the same time, which either one is scary?
Yeah, I agree. I tend to think that this kind of thing's happened before, and they're just kind of dosing it out in little bits, like with the signals. Like I feel like they've known about these signals for a long time. Maybe they have better technology now, but I feel like maybe they knew about these for a lot longer than we've heard about them.
Right.
Because it's weird that they all just sort of came in the last year.
No, I agree with you. And I also believe that they've known this stuff for a very long time. So
I think we're just being spoon-fed what they want us to know,
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And that goes with everything. That goes with even things we don't particularly talk about on the show, but I love to follow politically. I believe that as we have found out, unfortunately, over the past year, regardless of whose fault it is, there's a lot of things that happen with the press. And so you have to really tune to alternative media sometimes. And even then,
You
it's
don't know.
you could be tuning into a bias
Yeah.
alternative media.
Well-
Whether that bias is red or whether it's blue,
Right.
you're still getting some sort of bias.
Well, not even bias. You could be tuning into an alternative news site or a site that's posing as an alternative news site, but it's still feeding you
Right.
what they want you to hear.
So-
just under the guise of alternative news, so you believe it.
So basically, I have the solution.
Okay.
So Allen, Stacey, you're in luck because you're going to be the first ones to hear the solution.
Okay, goody.
You need to only get your news from the Paranormal Sideshow.
That is the answer.
This is the only place with such trusted people as Stacey Edwards and Allen Marston, Travis Molden, our friends that join us occasionally. No, it's funny, but there is a lot of weird stuff going on. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of strange phenomena happening, and it seems like it's really doubling down on the strange and the weird.
Yes, I agree.
But with that said, I couldn't be more excited. It's like freaking Christmas morning.
I feel like our roundtable discussion tonight, we've just concluded that you can't believe anything that you hear.
Yeah.
In the news.
Exactly.
Anything they tell you, just you can't believe any of it. That's pretty much our conclusion, isn't it?
Yeah. I as my favorite show there with Jeremy Clarkson would say, on that
terrible disappointment.
Yes. Allen, thank you so much, my friend, for joining us and playing along and bringing us some interesting facts that will give me heartburn for a few days.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, anytime. And when we do find out, where Allen is going to be speaking and anything like that, we will pass it along.
Yes.
So he can weird you out if you're in the area and, as we love to do. So, Allen, once again, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was interesting.
Yeah. Overload of facts.
Yes.
All at once, and overload of theories. I love it.
Yes. Well, I like it when we all get to bring our own little thing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's Christmas.
We'll have to do it again.
It's Paranormal Christmas. I love it. And you know where you can find all these links and fun fancies?
Well, I do.
Do you?
Yes, but you should tell everybody else.
Okay. If you really want me to. ParanormalSideshow.com. That's where you go to find out everything weird, creepy, and wrong with the world. Facebook.com/Paranormal Sideshow. Well, that's just self-explanatory. On the Twitter @Sideshow97. And on Instagram, hot damn, John and Stacey Edwards. On YouTube, search Paranormal Sideshow. Guys, girls, aliens, Bigfoots, government listening in right now. All you CIA agents, please go and like the show on Facebook. And that's Facebook.com/Paranormal Sideshow. Go visit the website and, go join us on Twitter. And absolutely, positively, if you're on iTunes, subscribe to the show, leave a review, or however you're listening to it. Mm-hmm. Make sure you give it a little thumbs up. Even if you're not doing anything but holding your thumb in the air and smiling while you listen, that's all we really need. And for my lovely wife, Stacey, my name's John. So long from the Sideshow.
Good night.